This is where you all are just now. We trade as Marc Stuart Medium, and we're doing an open circle and workshop. Who are we? Okay, well, that's me. I am Marc Stuart. I'm a Scottish medium. I'm a church-trained medium. Now, pre-COVID, I was working in an average of 2.5 churches a month. I have probably worked in a total of about 50 different spiritualist churches. Last year, I worked in China, Canada, United States, and Scotland, of course. So when I say I'm an international medium, I mean I work in various countries. This is Devi. Devi started off as one of my students about 2 years ago. Now she's the Chief Executive Officer of the business. There's about 5 of us in total that work in the business. You're only seeing 2 of us tonight. Devi is a very good medium, and the 2 of us did a tour of New York State last year in October. So what makes us different? Okay, rapid fire messages. So what do I mean by that? When I work in a church platform, let's say there's 30 people in the congregation, in the space of about 50 minutes, every single person will get a message. The messages will be short, they will be direct, and they will be evidential. And when I teach mediumship, that's the methodology I teach. Now, that's very important because if you're working on a stage and you give, let's say, 50 messages in 2 hours, that's probably 30 private bookings that you're going to get. And if you're a working professional medium, that's the difference between pocket money and earning a living. Direct and no calling out. A lot of churches in America, a lot of mediums in America do not go direct. Now, what do I mean by the difference? Very simple. Let's say I've lost count, but there's about 12, 13, 14, 15 people here tonight. If I was working and I was calling out, I would say, I've got an old man, he died in his 70s, he had grey hair, he had a walking stick, and he had a pet dog. Put your hand up if you recognise it. And I guarantee 5 to 10 people would put their hands up. And I would say, before his hair went grey, it was very black, and he had circular glasses, and I'm getting the letter J, maybe his name. And then 3 hands would go down and 2 hands would go up. Now, direct is... Now, I wouldn't obviously know your names, so I'm not going to use names, and I'm not working tonight, but I would say, can I come to the woman? I think your name is Diane with the long hair and the glasses. Diane, can you take a spirit with a man with the name Jay? I think he died of a heart attack in his 70s, short grey hair. That's working direct. So you can see the difference. With the first one, people are getting spiritual and guessing and trying to make it fit to people. By going direct, there's no doubt. If you get it wrong, you get it wrong, but 95% of the time, the way we teach you, you'll get it right. Evidential. Now, what do I mean by that? We have 0 tolerance for vague messages. What I mean by that is, I've got your mother here and she loves you. That's vague. Evidential is, I've got your mother here and she wants to talk about the gas bill that's lying on the settee in your living room. That's evidential because we're talking about something that you can confirm as you've got an invoice on your settee. And that's the way we work in Scotland. Now, let me just give you a direct comparison between Scotland and New York State, because I know that that's where Pearly comes from. And I know that you may not be aware of this, but New York State has the largest number of spiritualist churches per head of population per state. So here's a few direct statistics. New York State population 19.4 million. Number of spiritualist churches, now that's a church where mediumship is practiced, 12. Number of churches in Scotland, to be honest, we lost count, but there are more spiritualist churches within half an hour's drive of where I'm sitting than the whole of New York State, probably about 15. My best guess is a couple of hundred. And that's with a population of a quarter New York State. There's just over 5 million of us. Look in history. The great historical figures in spiritualism, the vast majority of them are Scottish. Sir Arthur Conan Doyle, the last woman to be jailed for witchcraft who was a medium, was, surprise, surprise, Scottish. The inventor of television, apart from having the distinction of being Scottish, actually believed he was being directed by spirit. And that's just 3 people I've chosen at random. Why are we different? Not here tonight to go into a long difference, but you can blame the Romans. Celts used to cover the whole of Western Europe. They were conquered, massacred everywhere except one little country called Scotland. The rest of it, go and read about it. Okay. Now, Devi and I do a lot of online work. We do a lot of events like this. You can follow us on Facebook. We don't trade, but we call it the Marc Stuart Medium Network. You'll find us on YouTube. You'll find us on Facebook, but Facebook deletes the videos 30 days after we broadcast them. On YouTube, Scottish Medium, you'll find over 100 videos there. Now, that includes training. It includes streamed events where we're talking, having discussions. It includes me working. So there's a lot of material there you can go and look at. And you can also register for a newsletter. Just go to marcstuartmedium.com/newsletter. Okay, so that's the basics. Now, as I said, we're looking to get everybody to work tonight for about 5 people and about 5 people to get messages. So with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 6 plus 6, that should work. So bear with me for a few seconds. I just need to go and get a video. And Devi, do you want to take volunteers for people that want to give messages?
Yes. Since not everybody's going to get to work tonight, if you would like to work, raise your hand. Let's see, Esther, hold on a second. I got to find her name. Keep your hands raised, Teresa. Come on. Carly. And Abby. That's only 5 people that want to work, so we'll see where we get in the time that we have. And Tammy, you need to turn your video on so we can see you.
Did you get my hand? This
Oh,
is Janine.
let me see. Yes, no, I did. Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, so can everybody see the video that just appeared? I'd like everybody to pay very close attention to this video. This is me in a charitable event giving readings. Don't pay too much attention to the reading itself. It's the methodology that I'm using, because the people that are going to give readings tonight, who I will be working with, are going to use this methodology. The methodology is very simple. You ask the sitter for permission to work. You give evidence of the spirit. You get confirmation that the sitter can recognize the spirit. Then you give an evidential message, and then you close the reading down. So this is a very short reading. This is what I mean. This is an example of what I mean by a rapid fire message. Can I come to Silla? Hello. Hi. Man in spirit. Do me a favour, stand up so you're free. He's taller than you. Okay, sit down again. And he's quite raw. I'm not saying he could be a rugby player, but compared to me, like if you were judging him against me, he makes me look like a matchstick. But in proportion, he's not as tall as me. But in proportion, like the body mass, you know, he's wider. No, he's taller and wider. Does that make sense? Yeah. Right. Short hair. Mm-hmm. I don't think he had this. I think he showed me him when he was younger before he passed. But I get a sort of dark brown shade of grey. No, it's not grey. Dark brown hair. Does that make sense? No. Brownish? What a sort of dirty fair, mostly but dark hair. Yeah. Yeah, okay, I've got the colour wrong, but it's definitely making me wear it's dark hair. You happy with who I've got then? Right. Did he die of a heart attack or something sudden? Not sudden, no. Heart attack? He had heart problems. Right, okay, so it's heart problems then. Okay, right, fine, he's just giving me that confirmation. Have you had issues to do with a property recently? I don't mean physical I don't mean physically. I mean something like, I'm guessing here, so don't take this as literal. but something like rateable value or council or planning permission. So that makes sense to you?
Yeah.
Right. It's not resolved yet, is it?
Not completely, no.
Have you spoken to a legal expert about this?
It's in happening.
So you have spoken to somebody?
Yeah.
Right, okay. Is there something, whoever it is that you've spoken to, is outstanding? Like, so you're waiting for them to have done something. Might even just see an email.
More the other way around.
So they're waiting for you to do
Yeah.
something. Double check, rethink that. Maybe think outside the box. Because what this man is making me think, there's something that this person was supposed to have done that they either haven't done or you think they've done and they haven't done it. Does that make sense?
Okay.
Like, just phone them up tomorrow and just have it. Don't say the medium told me to phone you. Just have a conversation with them. And I think it's going to be fairly obvious, whatever it is. You know, just speak to them, talk to them, whatever it is that you're supposed to do or whatever it is they've done. And just don't just leave it as a, have you done X, Y, Z? Just have a conversation with them. And I think they're going to say, oh my God, I didn't do that. It's going to come straight out of the conversation, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Can I leave that with you?
Yeah.
Can I come? Alright, let me just close that down. Okay, so you saw the way that worked. I asked the sitter if I could work with her. I gave her evidence of the spirit. I kept going until she gave me confirmation that she knew who the spirit was, and then I gave her the message. Do not give message and evidence mixed up. The message will be evidential, yes, but there is a distinct breaking point where you're giving evidence of the spirit, and then once that's done, you move into giving the message itself. And then at the very end of it, you break the connection with the sitter so that when you go to the next message, because with this methodology that I teach, you're doing message after message after message after message after message. On that day, although you couldn't see it, there was about 20 people there and I gave about 15 messages. So very quickly, does anybody have any questions about that? No? Okay. So what we're going to do now is, sorry, Kama?
Yes. I have a question about how you close down the message in that particular reading.
I just said to the woman, are you happy with that? Can I leave that with you? She said, yes, break. That way the spirit knows, it's letting the spirit know that you're moving on to another message. Now, if you were doing this would apply to a private reading. So let's say you were doing private readings for an hour. You get one spirit, you give, say, a 15-minute message, the person's paid for an hour, and you've got to get another spirit forward to move on to the next message. So you would break from one spirit to the next, if that makes sense. Okay? So although I'm talking about stage work, just remember these same rules carry over to private work as well. Because a lot of people will say, oh, but I don't want to do platform work. The methodology teaches you to be able to bring spirit forward like that. And when you're working on a stage or in a fair and you've got people coming up to you constantly, that's the difference between running out of steam after an hour and still going 6 hours later. And going 6 hours later means you're earning $2,000 over the weekend as opposed to 200. Okay? Right. So your turn to start working. So what we're going to do now is open up. So just a very quick show of hands. Does anybody...
Really quick. If you are not working or currently working or giving a reading, please keep yourself on mute. Okay, go ahead, Mark.
Show of hands, just very quickly, show me if you do not know what I mean by opening and closing. Right, it's quite a few people. Okay, so listen very carefully to what I'm about to describe, because if you don't take anything else away from tonight, this is the single most important thing I can teach you. Because this will affect your health. Are there people here, and just do a show of hands, who suffer from sleepless nights? Okay. Are there people here who find themselves waking up at a similar time on a regular basis during the night? Let's say you just suddenly waking up at 3 or 4 o'clock. Okay? Are there people who are slowly over time feeling themselves getting tireder and tireder and tireder, let's say over a month to 3 months, until you get to a point where you're so tired you literally have to take 2 or 3 days and just collapse in a heap and recharge your batteries? Okay. Amazingly, that's the same people putting your hands up. Now, let me diagnose you. You're walking around open. So what does that mean? It means your guides think you want to be open so that spirit can talk to you constantly. And that has the effects that I've just read out for you. Devi, the first time I met her, had been open for how many years, Devi? You're on mute.
Probably 50.
And what was the effect when I taught you how to close?
And the first time I learned how to close, I slept through the night for the first time without medication in decades, probably 30 or 40 years.
Okay.
It was amazing.
So think of it like this. When you're open, you're standing in a pool of water, let's say a river, that's only a few centimeters deep. The water represents the spirit around you, and they're all trying to communicate with you that because the water is so thin, they're whispering, and your psychic abilities are trying to tune into it without being aware of it, and you're trying so hard, you're getting so tired. And you're wakening up at night because spirit are shouting at you to get a message through to you. When you're closed, you've built a dam across the river, and the water builds up behind the dam. You switch yourself on and off by opening or closing. When you open, the water comes through with so much power that you can give messages like the one that you just saw me do in that video. And it's so easy because you're charged up and you can hear spirit as opposed to spirit whispering at you. And then you close it down and the spiritual energy stops harassing you. The medium's like a mobile phone. It's on if it's on constantly, it's receiving signal. You receive the signal and you translate it and you give it to the sitter. But like the mobile phone, you've got a battery. And because you're constantly receiving when you're open, the battery power is going like that, and that's why you're getting tired. So what we're going to teach you to do now first is how to open. And then at the end, I'll teach you how to close. And after we're closed, I'll tell you things to do moving forward so that you can go away and protect yourself. Anybody got any questions, or did everybody understand that? Okay.
I have a question.
Okay, fire away.
So, what if so it's not a good thing to always be open?
Absolutely not.
Okay. How many hours a day should you be open?
0. You
Okay.
should only be open when you're working.
Okay. Thank
So
you.
if you're doing a private reading, you open up. If you're going to do a guided meditation like we're going to do shortly, you open up. If you're in a circle, you open up. If you're on a stage or at a fair, obviously you're going to be open a lot longer. But for your normal life, 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. sleeping, closed.
Okay. So what
Okay.
if I want to get messages for myself? That's why I stay open all the time?
If you want to receive messages, stay open. But if you stay open all the time, you're killing yourself.
Okay. Thank
And
you.
I mean that quite literally. Anyone who has any underlying medical condition, being open does not cause the medical condition. Be absolutely clear about that, but it will exacerbate it. So, for example, I'm a type 1 diabetic. If I walked around open, I know I'd be having hypos, hyperglycemic all the time.
Okay.
Okay?
Thank you.
You're welcome. Rachel?
Yes, hi, it's Rochelle. So if you are on a platform where you're waiting for online readings to come to you, would you just stay closed until you get a reading coming to you and then
No,
open
I would
up real
open-
fast?
I would no. I would open up about 15 to 20 minutes before going on the stage, and I would stay open until I was finished working. Then
Well,
I
I
would
mean, okay, like even if I'm just at home, like waiting online, I mean,
Are
like
you
over the
talking
internet.
about receiving a reading, Rochelle?
No, I'm talking about giving. If I have
Okay, then yes, you need to
Yeah.
open up before you give. Yes,
for the
absolutely.
whole 4 hours and I'm sitting there open, just waiting for readings or people to give readings to. I would stay open that whole time. Yeah.
It depends on the circumstances.
Okay.
Like if you've got, like, for example, people book readings with me, I would open and close between readings. But I time it so I've got 15 minutes between them.
Well,
Or if I'm at a fair, I might stay open for the whole day.
yeah,
It
I
just
would have to. Yeah.
it depends. It just depends on the circumstances and what you're doing and how you're working. Okay.
Okay. Is there such thing as somebody being blocked from being able to be open, or is anyone able to do it?
Anyone is able to do it. They may not know how to do it and they may be doing it wrong, and therefore they translate it as I'm blocked.
Okay, thank you.
But spirit can leave you standing. There are certain rules that if you start breaking them, spirit will not work with you. So that might be what you're meaning. Okay?
Okay.
Right. Okay, so everybody, make yourselves comfortable. Sit. Close your eyes, put your feet firmly on the ground, put your arms by your side, and listen to my voice. I want you to picture yourself in the roots of a tree. The roots are very thin because you're very far from the tree trunk. And I want you to follow the roots towards the trunk. Feel yourself, feel your energy, simply passing along those roots. Pass into the trunk of the tree. Now climb up the trunk. It's an old tree, it's a thick tree, it's a very strong tree. Work your way up the trunk, keep going up until the trunk starts to break into branches. Choose the strongest branch. Move your energy through that branch. The branch splits and splits again. Keep following the strongest branch until finally you come to the twig that's furthest away from the tree. And at the end of that twig is a curled up autumn brown leaf. Put your energy into that leaf. And as you do, the leaf starts to uncurl. As it uncurls, it turns from autumn brown red to bright yellow summer green. And it feels the sunlight touching it. And you now know that you are open to the other side. When you're ready, open up your eyes. Now, you can use any symbolism that you want. Personally, I see myself working across London Bridge to St. Paul's. I walk up the steps of St. Paul's and I open the door. I don't use that because I'm speaking to an American audience and they probably don't know what St. Paul's is or what London Bridge is. As long as you are symbolically in your mind opening up a door so that your guides understand that you are now open, and closing will do the reverse. Okay, now we're now going to do a guided meditation. Now, the purpose of the guided meditation is to take your level of connection to a higher state. So is there anybody here that has not done a guided meditation before? So everybody's familiar with a guided meditation. Okay, good. So make yourselves comfortable. Again, relax, close your eyes and listen to my voice. Now, I want you just to feel yourself drifting into a mild, meditative sleep state. Feel yourself listening to my voice. Feel yourself drifting in total blackness. It's nothing to be frightened of. It's not the kind of darkness that's scary. It's the kind of warm, fluffy darkness that you feel when you begin to fall asleep. Now, picture yourself floating in your sleep in what I can only describe as clouds. These are not the white clouds that you see in the sky or the grey clouds. These are coloured like a 1970 disco. There's lights in these clouds lighting up all the clouds. And just feel yourself floating. Red clouds, green clouds, yellow clouds, combinations of amber, blue, and black clouds. It's really gothic clouds you're seeing now. And you're just floating in them. And then suddenly you hear the clickety-clap of horse heels riding through the clouds. Now, keeping your eyes shut, feel yourself standing up and looking around and see 4 horsemen riding towards you. Don't worry, it's not the 4 horsemen from Revelations. It's 4 children, teenagers out riding their horses. It's a summer cloudy day, although the clouds are mist around the horses, but you see the young people and you see the horses above, let's just call it the cloudy fog. They're coming straight towards you. And the 4 horses stop in front of you. 2 boys and 2 girls, and they all shout out, "Who are you? What are you doing here?" And you explain to them that you're not really sure where you are, and you're not really sure why you're here. And they say, "Well, we're going for a picnic. Why don't you come with us?" And it just happens miraculously that there's a 5th horse with no rider that comes along behind them. So walk up to the horse and get yourself up onto the horseback, grab the reins, and the 5 of you now are riding through the clouds. The clouds dissipate, and you find yourself riding through a sunny, leafy glen in Scotland. And believe it or not, it is sunny sometimes in Scotland, and we do have nice glens. Heather on the hills. You ride up to a wee burn, which is what we call a river. You cross the river, and you find yourself on an island. And there's other people come from every direction on horseback, and they're all coming onto this fairly large island, and they all get off, and everybody's got some food in their saddle, and they all take it out and start sharing it. It's one of those Amway style, bring a bowl of food and let's all share it together. And the picnic begins to develop, and everybody's sitting down and chatting. And then one of the 4 teenagers that you arrived with walks up to you and says, "Why don't you come over here?" And she points towards a wooden hut on the island. She takes you by the hand and walks you up to the hut. And she opens the door, and she kind of shoves you inside before you realise what's happening. And she shuts the door behind you. And of course, it's not what you expect. It's not the inside of a hut. It's what I'm going to call and describe as your safe location. It's where you go in your mind, deep down, when you need somewhere safe to retreat to, when you need somewhere comfortable to go to. It could be a room, it could be somewhere in the countryside, it could be a church, I don't know. It's different for all of us. But there's a slight difference this time. There's 2 chairs. One chair's empty. The second chair has your loved one waiting for you, because they knew that they were coming tonight. They stand up, they embrace you, put your arms around them, and sit down together. Now I'm going to leave the 2 of you together for the next 2 minutes. This is your time. Enjoy it. Catch up with them. You are not here to get a message for anybody. Anything they want to tell you is for you by yourself. You can share it with us later, or you can keep it quiet. So I will be back in approximately 2 minutes. Okay, everybody, so listen to my voice again. It's time to say farewell to your loved ones. So stand up together, embrace them, turn around, head back towards the door that you came through. Don't look back because your loved one knows it's time to leave and they've already left. Go through the door and find yourself back in the island. Everybody's beginning to get up and clean up the food. Everybody's heading towards the horses. The teenager that brought you across takes you by the hand, smiles, and leads you back to the 5 horses where the other 3 are waiting. Mount up and ride back across the river, back into the glen. Now, this time they're going to play a little trick with you. They're going up the valley side, and it's a steep ride up, so cling on to that horse with all life. Up you go, all the way up to the top, over the top, and back into the clouds. And these are normal clouds this time, not the colourful clouds, because this time you're flying. You're on a flying horse like Pegasus. Just fly for a few moments till you find yourself back in the coloured clouds again. Dismount, say what farewell to the 4 teenagers because they continue on into the distance. Make yourself comfortable. Just lie back, close your eyes, find yourself back in that light, sleepy state where you started. Listen to my voice, and pull yourself back up to reality. And when you're ready, open up your eyes. Teresa, are you still okay? Right, I'm not going to go around everybody because there's 12 people, or 13 including Devi. But does anybody want to share what they experienced just very quickly?
Just raise your hand if you do. Kama?
Yes, I experienced my grandfather and my great aunt. And one told me that I was beautiful and doing great, and the other told me something private, but and it was very nice to see them.
Good.
I,
So,
I felt their presence, which I feel often, but yeah.
good. Anybody else want to share?
Grass, Teresa, you want to go next?
Sure.
Okay, Teresa. So
Oh.
you saw how we worked. So try and see who you're drawn to.
Teresa, you need to take yourself off mute.
Okay, how do I see the people?
Right. So at the top, or are you on a computer or a phone?
On a phone.
Okay. Try sliding across the screen.
Oh, there we go.
Okay. So just look at everybody. Who do you feel drawn to?
Sage.
Okay. So, Sage, just to check, are you giving a reading tonight? Right. Okay.
Okay.
So
I've never done this before, guys, so.
it's fine. So just ask Sage if you can work with her. So Teresa, ask Sage if you can work with Sage.
Sage, can you work with me? Okay.
Now, Sage, I didn't hear that. Are you?
Yes.
Yeah.
Can you-
Okay, that's good. Right. So Teresa, just relax, and as we did previously, whatever you're feeling, whatever you see, just talk out loud and tell me.
Sage, I feel really sad. Are you sad?
Now, stop. Teresa, you're not reading Sage, you're getting evidence from a spirit.
Okay.
So, if the spirit is feeling sad, then this is a spirit that emotionally was sad.
Okay.
Now, see what else you can get.
I get it's a female.
How did you get that? Is it just feeling, or can you see something?
It's a feeling.
Okay. And anything else?
I just get that it's an older female that's very sad.
Okay, keep going.
I feel like she's patting me on the hand.
So
Is that-
something about the spirit's hand then.
Right.
Is it the right hand or the left hand?
It's the right hand.
Okay, so stop. So Sage, can you understand a female spirit, elderly or older, and for some reason feeling sad and maybe something about the right hand?
The first two, the female and elderly.
Okay. Now think about the hand. That I'm taking that as physical. It might have some meaning that you can understand. Can you understand anything about the spirit patting you on the hand, or?
Yes,
It's like she's offering comfort.
So you can understand that, Sage?
yeah, I could see them
Okay.
when they
Right,
were
so
living.
Teresa, so that's good. Now, the way this works, when you get a yes, typically the spirit will now give you something else. So what are they giving you now? And then, now, Teresa, don't shut your eyes. Keep your eyes open. And keep looking at Sage. Now, Teresa, is it my imagination or are you pointing your head up?
Am.
Okay. So
Bad habit.
no. Spirit will make you do things physically during a reading. And most mediums aren't actually aware of what spirit are doing during the reading. The number of times that sitters have said to me, why were you doing that with your hand? Because that's exactly what my uncle used to do with his hands. So, Sage, you saw the way that Teresa had her sort of like her head pointing up. Can you understand something about the head, the neck, or the positioning of the head with this spirit?
It would be a characteristic of a
Characteristic.
person. Yes.
Okay. So you saw how that worked, Teresa?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Let's see if we can get something else, because you're on a roll here. Keep going. Do you always smile like that?
Like what?
Or you just smiled?
I always smile, I think.
Okay. Sage, did the spirit smile that way?
Yes.
Okay, so clearly, Teresa, spirit are communicating with you physically.
Okay, that makes sense.
Okay. So let's just see if you can get one more bit.
Sage, I feel like I want to tap you on the shoulders and rub your shoulders with both my hands. Does that make any sense to you?
Partly.
That's what I feel like I need to do. Like I need to put my hands on your shoulders and rub.
So, Sage, can you understand the spirit doing that to you?
Yes and no. Yes and no.
What?
See,
Put some
I'm a
context.
hugger, but I don't typically do that.
Okay. So stop for a second, Teresa. Sage, just explain a wee bit about what you mean by yes and no.
It would be more of a hold
Okay.
than a pat, or like it would
But
be
you can understand the hands holding you like that.
yes.
Right. Okay. So Teresa, just be careful there when you're giving the message. Don't be too specific give the general like holding or embracing.
Okay.
Okay. So, Sage, are you happy with who Teresa's got?
Yes.
So that's Teresa, that's you got confirmation of who the spirit is. Normally you would do that. So now we're moving into the message. Now this is where it gets confusing, because the spirit will still be giving you the evidence as though it's evidence of the person, but it's not. So for example, if the spirit showed you a broken arm, it's not the broken arm of the spirit, it's talking about somebody's broken arm. And that was just an example. I'm not doing the reading. So again, as before, what is the spirit now giving you?
Feeling very chilled on my arms.
Okay. So Sage, can you understand something about your arms or somebody around you that's very close to you having an issue with their arms?
And a wicked headache right here. Does this mean anything to you, Sage?
The headache would be mine. The cold arms, I'm not sure.
Okay. So don't panic. We've got headache. Teresa, what
It
else do you
just
get?
came on sudden. Yeah, it's not mine. It's a sudden headache right here. Like
Right, now,
somebody, it just
Stop,
starts.
stop for a second, Teresa, because you put your hand up to your head when you were explaining it. And that ties in with the cold arms. So we're coming back to the arms. Is that your right arm or your left arm?
That's my right arm.
Your right arm. So Sage, can you understand something about your right arm connected to your headache in some way?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, now I'm going to ask you a question because we're getting into dangerous territory here. Is your arm and your head medical, or is it symbolic for something that's going on just now?
They're both medical.
Right. Now, Teresa, it's okay to get confirmation of a condition, but you never ever diagnose. That's rule 1. So just be very careful, okay?
Mm-hmm.
So you don't say to somebody, you've got a sore arm, you've got a head. You just say to them, I'm getting a sore arm and a head. Can you understand it? As we just did.
Okay.
Right. Now, the message will not be to diagnose, but it is obviously going to be in some way about this medical condition. You're not diagnosing because you've got confirmation that that Sage knows what it's about. So what are you now getting?
Got a high pitched whining in my ears. Does that make any sense?
No.
Okay, so stop for a second. Sage, do you know anybody that would talk to you in the way that that phrase would imply?
A high-pitched voice?
High-pitched voice or in your ear?
No.
Okay. Teresa, do you know anybody that would talk that way?
This
Right,
is
okay.
this is spirit. I'm going to say this is spirit because usually when I can feel things, it's the high pitched whining. But I just don't understand how to translate it.
Okay. So keep going. What else do you get?
I'm going to say this, Sage, because I just need to. You have a beautiful aura.
Thank you.
Now, Teresa, that's part of the message. So don't interpret it that way. If the spirit is drawing your attention to Sage's aura, there's a reason for it. So just think about those 2 steps. The symbolism of the noise to you means spirit's communicating. Then you're being shown that Sage has an aura. So there's a reason for that. So what's the next step? What's the meaning of it? So what else is the spirit giving you? Okay, when you saw the aura, what is beautiful about the aura?
It's white and light blue.
Okay,
And what befuddles me is the light source is on the right side of her face, but I see the aura all the way around her left shoulder and up, all over her head. It's like there's, it makes me feel very calm, like that the headache and the shoulder are not going to be. Does that make sense?
okay, so Sage, is the headache causing you problems spiritually? Like, is it stopping you from working? Is it?
No, for me, I mean, like when we started, when you opened everyone up, the headache came. So, and it's not like a bad headache. It's just there. So,
Okay. And is that part of your medical condition? Like, do you have a medical condition that's been diagnosed?
yes.
Okay. And does the headache that you just described feel the way that that headache would feel?
No, I would have to say no.
Okay. So maybe that, okay, so maybe that was the message, Teresa, because you got the psychic, which you recognize as spirit communicating with you.
Mm-hmm.
You were drawn to Sage's aura, and aura's just given Sage has just given us confirmation that she got a headache when she opened up. So maybe that's the message.
Okay.
Maybe the message, Sage, is that when spirit's communicating with you, you're going to get this headache.
Yes.
So do you see how I got to that, Teresa?
Uh-huh. Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay. So ask Sage if she's happy with that message.
Are you happy with that, Sage?
Yes.
Thank
So,
you.
Thank you.
okay.
I appreciate you being there.
Right. So Sage, give us some feedback about the spirit.
The spirit was, I believe, my grandmother. She would hold me a lot when I was little. She brought me up. And she would move and sing a lot with me. So, yeah.
Okay. Right. And the message, does that make sense?
Yes. Yes. And I think it's for me blocking myself. So it does all make sense. So thank you.
Okay. Right. So Teresa, I forgot to ask you at the beginning, have you done readings before?
No, this is the first time.
The first one. Right. Okay. So clearly when you're working, have a mirror around you. Don't sit and stare into the mirror, but just have a mirror so that you can see what's going on with your face, like the
Okay.
smiling.
Okay. That makes sense.
Pay attention to what your hands do, because spirit are communicating with you physically.
Okay.
Don't make the mistake that you made at the very beginning. You're not or that you made towards the end. You're not reading Sage. You're getting evidence from the spirit, but it's like breadcrumbs. You've got to follow the breadcrumbs to make sense of the message.
Okay.
So you were getting sidetracked into reading the aura. You were being shown the aura as part of the message, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
And you were getting spiritual communication ear-wise. I had to make the jump, but the headache made complete sense to Sage in terms of being blocked and getting the messages.
Right.
Okay?
May I add one more thing?
Yep.
When you smiled, it was my grandmother's smile, and my grandmother was a very proud woman, and she always held her head high, like very regal almost. So I just wanted to point that out.
So again, reinforcing what I'm saying. Have a mirror. Don't stare at it, but just pay attention to what you're doing with your head and your face. Be aware of it.
Okay.
Because that was 75% of the evidence was physical for you.
Mhm.
Any questions?
Thank you. That was wonderful. Thank you, Sage.
Thank you both. Let's move on. Pearlie, would you like to go next?
Pearlie?
Sure.
Oh, Pearlie. Okay, Pearlie. Right, so you're a bit more experienced, Pearlie.
Just a tad. Not much.
Going to ask you a few questions. So the methodology that you've seen us working, does that relate to the way that you've worked before in the past?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yes.
So do you feel confident doing this yourself?
I personally don't do it at church, but it is very similar to what I have done.
That's fine. The methodology is exactly the same. The only difference is when you're doing it on church, me personally anyway, you want to condense it and make it faster. Whereas in a private reading, you've got enough time to keep the chat going. And if you're not getting anything, you come out with a conversation piece, you ask a question, not about the reading, but you know what I'm talking about until you get something from the spirit. You can't do that on platform because you're going bang, 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 bang. So the bad news is you're on platform.
Bad news is it's real people. These people are like, you're on my screen.
Right. So if you get stuck at any point, just shout out and I'll come in and help you. But otherwise, I'll just let you do it yourself.
Okay. Can I see a show of hands who's not giving readings again? Maria, may I come to you, please?
Yes.
I don't know if it's me or if it's the nerves, but my face just got super hot. I feel like it's a friend. And I know this because when people come to me, they come in areas I've asked my spirit guides to bring. Fathers on the right, fathers, brothers, mothers on the left, and friends are directly in the middle, and this is directly in the middle, a little farther back than cousins. Feels like a little boy. Do you have any little boys in spirit?
No.
It could be someone who's very childish. Keep getting that hot face, like rosy cheeks, maybe.
Carly, let me just step in here.
Hop in, Mark.
How old is the child?
I feel like this child is about 6 or 7.
Right, stop. Maria? Sorry, who's giving the reading?
Maria.
Sorry.
6 or 7, no.
Maria, no, you don't know what the question is yet. Did you have an abortion or a miscarriage 6 or 7 years ago, or is there somebody very close to you that you can understand having a miscarriage 6, 7 years ago?
I didn't. But no, that was more than 7 years ago.
How much more? Remember, we're going on the way that the boy looks, not necessarily the exact age.
Could be about maybe 10 years.
Okay, Pearlie, could this be a 10-year-old that just looks young?
Could be. How did you hop to miscarriage? The hot face?
It was my daughter-in-law who had the miscarriage. And I'm sure, yeah, her face was flushed.
Right, now, Pearlie, what you still need to get evidence. You can't get it from the child. So what you're now going to try and do is see if you can get any the spiritual parents, the people that have been bringing the child up, Usually it's people connected to the living, so they can be recognized. So see if you can get one of the spiritual parents around the child.
I just had somebody like, how am I gonna describe this? A male, like a Mick Jagger kind of thing.
Why? What do you mean by Mick Jagger? Do you mean the way?
Mullet, like a mullet hairdo, but it has to do with rock and roll. I don't know what that means. And I'm also feeling right here on my arms a lot of cold. I don't know if that what that means either.
How old is this Mick Jagger-like character?
About 30-ish. Maybe younger. Maybe 20, 24, 26.
Now remember, Maria, this may not be the age that the man died at. This may be the age that he was known at. So, and it's your daughter-in-law, it's not yourself, but are you aware of anybody that would fit that description in her life that she would know of?
The only person I can think of would be my son, and I lost him a year ago.
Okay. And does he fit that description?
Sort of.
Okay. So Pearl, see if you can get anything else. Now, let me just ask you a question, Murray. Would he be the father of the child?
Yes.
Yeah, this is beginning to make sense, Pearl. So just see if you can get a bit more evidence either from the child or from the father,
Something about I'm trying to think if I'm trying to decipher whether it's my head looking at these squares and giving me a patchwork quilt or if it's a patchwork quilt.
the Maria patchwork quilts or squares.
Like with pictures on it. Okay, so it just could be my own human vision.
Pearly, remember, spirit put things into your head that the easiest way to give you evidence is to use your own imagination. So don't dismiss it as your imagination if spirit are giving you it in the middle of a reading.
I keep getting these squares, like white and black squares. Maybe patchwork quilt wasn't the answer for it. Whoever this is very childish, very, very young in spirit. I'm getting like a tugging, like, come on, play, play.
That could just be as simple as the father playing with the child.
I'm feeling a lot of youth. And I keep seeing like rock and roll and music. There's something really important about music and rock and roll.
Okay. Pearly, what rock and roll covers a wide spectrum. Can you tie it down a wee bit?
Did your son play guitar?
No, but he did music.
Did music.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so Pearly, we're getting there. I mean, like I say, I know you've said rock and roll, but are we talking Meatloaf or are we talking Gary Glitter or are we
We're talking Jumpin' Jack Flash. A lot of jumping around, a lot of high energy.
Mm-hmm.
Maria, does that describe your son?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Okay.
Feels like wants to be in crowds a lot.
Yeah. Awesome.
People's person.
Right. So Pearlie, you've just had Maria confirm the son, so ask her the direct question, is she happy that you've got her son?
This is your son, Maria.
Yes. Thank you.
Okay, so Pearlie, move into the message now.
Yes.
So he's bringing me love, lots and lots and lots of love.
Pearlie, stop. Generic, not allowed.
It is very generic,
Yeah.
but he's
we know
bringing
our-
it
Yeah, we know
like
our
rivers of
okay.
love.
We know our son loves her, but he's going to want to talk about something specific, unless there was a reason that that Maria needed to hear that. So
Yes.
Maria, let me ask you a direct question. Did your son die under circumstances where you need to know that he loves you?
Yes.
Okay, I'll let you off then, Pearlie.
Thanks.
Thank
I
you.
hate making people cry. He wants you to feel childish. Does that make sense?
Yes.
He's like, stop the adulting, feel childish.
Yeah.
Right, so Pearlie, there must be a reason.
Definitely him.
There must be a reason for that. So what's the reason?
For me?
No, sorry, I'm speaking to
Oh.
Pearlie, medium.
Hold on.
Okay.
She's very bogged down and she's very caught up. He wants her to feel the joy of childhood.
Pearlie, caught up in what? Be specific.
Caught up in life's hassles, like caught up in, good point, caught up in the day-to-day. Like you're stuck. You're stuck here. You're stuck in maybe you're stuck in his grief.
Yes. Very much.
He wants you to move on. He wants you to feel like a kid.
Yeah.
And know that he's okay. Because he's happy. Clearly he's playing with his child. It's pretty powerful. Can I leave him with you?
Yes.
Okay. Maria, your turn. Feedback, please.
Huh?
Feedback.
Yeah.
feedback,
I
please.
mean, that was definitely him. I lost him tragically. I mean, he was a people person, always was around crowds, always loved the attention. He was a singer. He used to like to sing, and he made music, and I worked a lot, so you know I always felt like I didn't show them that I was there enough, so I didn't know if they knew that I loved them that much. And he was one of those kids that wasn't affectionate, no matter how much you show affection, and I used to always tell him, hey, I love you, but he would really never say it. So the confirmation of him saying that he loves me.
That didn't come out, but I felt like he wasn't that way here. So that I just didn't get a chance to express that, but I felt that.
Yeah, that was definitely him. And I am stuck in the grief. I lost him a year and a half ago, and I just can't move on. And I am stuck on a day-to-day busy life, but I'm stuck on grief. Yeah, definitely stuck on grief.
Maria, obviously you're still in touch with your daughter-in-law.
Yes, we still in touch, yes.
Okay, so it's also important in circumstances like this to let her know that you only a brief message from the boy,
Yes.
but they let her know the obvious, that he's with his father and the father's now helping to bring him up. Well, obviously playing with him and bringing him up.
Okay, I will. Thank you.
Can I ask you a question?
Me?
How did you hop from childish with a flushed face to miscarriage? How do I make that connection?
Logic. you started with the child. Now, you did the right thing, you gave the child, but Maria couldn't take it. So when people pass into spirit as babies, miscarriage, or young children, they don't spend eternity as a toddler. They grow up. So if you're seeing, you didn't describe him as a 10-year-old, but let's just say for the sake of argument that you saw him as a 10-year-old. I mean, if I see a child from 6 to 12, I'm guessing at the age. Literally, it could be anything from 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. But let's just say that you got the age right at 10. So that means the child is now 10 years old. So that could be a miscarriage, or it could be a child that passed at 5 that's now 10. So you start with, can you understand losing a child maybe 10 years ago? No. A miscarriage? Oh, yes, there was a miscarriage. If they say no to that, then you say, well, can you understand losing a child? Because I'm seeing it as 10, maybe 5 years in the past, 4 years in the past, and they'll then come back and say, yes, I lost somebody 4 years in the past, or 6 years in the past, 4 plus 6, 10, like a 4-year-old died. It's just, you have to you have to be a wee bit of a detective when you're getting a child. I mean, I'm not saying you don't ask them for information. Clearly, you've got to give them what you get. But you know as well as I do that you can phrase things as you give the evidence. It's not leading them, but it's asking the question without asking them directly to say, did you have a child? You know, you had a child that died. How old were they when they died? You see what I'm saying?
Yes. Okay. Got it. Thanks.
Now, just remember, if you do get a child, the child has parental guardians that are not going to let it give a message. Just like we protect children, spirit protect children till they're old enough. So don't sit there struggling, trying to get the child to give a message, because that won't happen. Just as I prompted you to go for the parent. Now, I'll admit I was getting bits as well. So I was prompting you a wee bit. Parental. I wasn't saying, well, I've got the spirit. I wasn't going to say to you, I've got the spirit's father, but you kind of got there yourself.
You aren't supposed to be working.
I'm not working. I said I'm picking stuff up, but I
Thank you.
deliberately did not step in and take over the message. You saw me.
Yeah, absolutely. I got it. Yep.
Thank you so much, both of you.
Thank you.
We probably got time for maybe one more. So, Kama, would you like to work? You need to unmute yourself, though.
Right,
Yeah, sure. Well, that's a tough act to follow. All right.
Right. So, Kama, before you start, just same question I've given to everybody or missed with one person. Where are you in your journey so I know how much help to give you?
I'm a very spiritual person, but I've never attended a spiritual church or had a medium read live for me or anything like that. I read tarot cards and I'm an astrologer, but that's a totally different thing, you know. So I'm a very spiritual person, but the mediumship is entirely new to me. I've tried to do some some pet mediumship, but it hasn't gone too great. Well, it has, and
Right.
I don't know.
Stop. Let me ask you a question about your tarot cards.
Yeah.
When you're doing tarot card reading, are you looking at the cards and seeing images in the cards, or are you reading the manual to say that pattern of patterns, that card means this and that card means that?
Well, I know the meanings of the cards for myself, and I have various meanings that come up for me from different interpretations of the cards. So sometimes they'll have a meaning that the card, I'll be reading a deck and the meaning that I get from the card isn't from the deck that I'm reading, it's from another deck or something like that.
Okay. What you're probably experiencing is spirit communicating with you through the cards.
Yeah.
So I'm not telling you to stop doing tarot reading, but start doing oracle card readings as opposed to tarot card readings.
Okay.
I'll explain it after we've done the reading.
Okay.
So you saw how I was working with other people. I'll be holding your hand, so just select what you're going to.
So right when we opened up in this meeting, I was attracted to Rice. I felt called to read for her. and I saw an old man, and he had
Stop,
tools.
stop. Ask Rice if you can give her a reading.
Oh, shucks. Hi, Rice, may I give you a reading?
Absolutely.
Okay, thank you. So right away I was called to you and I saw a man who's tall or taller than you, and he had tools. He had some tools that he was doing something with, and he told some jokes. And he told some jokes. He had me laughing here while I was sitting here, and he was very very verbally, I guess, slow, but very sincere. And
Right, now stop, comma. Give Rice a minute to get herself together and ask her if she can recognize. Because always look at the sitter.
I'm
And
looking.
look, when the sitter breaks into tears, I think you can take it that they understand who the spirit is.
Yes.
Okay. So you recognize the spirit?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
Right, so comma, you're now moving into message.
Okay. I feel that he's here with you and that he wants you to know that he's holding your hand at all times. And that he's there to comfort you. And
Right, comma, stop. You're interpreting.
okay. Am
You
I?
said, yes, you said holding hands. How did you get holding hands?
I felt it.
Okay,
I felt that he was touching her on the shoulder and holding her hand.
right, now stop. Was it right shoulder or left shoulder?
Her left.
Right. Rice, can you understand either your left shoulder or somebody close to you's left shoulder?
No.
Think outside the box. Something about a shoulder?
It's most of the time, well, not most of the time. I know that he holds my both shoulders, not only the left.
Okay.
Okay, so it's the shoulder. So is there so apart from him doing it to you, is there anything about your shoulders that you can understand? Because that's very specific.
My shoulders hurt both.
So you have sore shoulders.
Yes.
Okay. Do you know what's causing the pain?
Yes.
Right, stop. So comma, the spirit is telling you that it's the shoulders for Rice, and Rice has just confirmed that she's got pain in the shoulders. So what else does the spirit give you?
The spirit, I find myself clearing my
Don't close
throat.
your eyes. Don't close your eyes. Keep
I
looking
pinched
at
my
Rice.
nose. I pinched my nose and my I swallowed. But I feel kind of stiff, I would say. But maybe that's the nerves.
Stop. So Rice, can you understand something with your nerves and being stiff?
Yes.
Right. So comma, for future reference, if spirit puts a word into your conversation, pay attention to it. Okay? Now
Yes.
we know what we're talking about. Now we want to know what the spirit wants to say about it. Why is the spirit drawing attention to all of this?
There's something that you need to move through in your life. There's something that is making you feel halted. And
Right, karma, stop. Everything we've had so far is physical. And you just said move. So Rice, do you do enough exercise? Would exercise help you with whatever your condition is?
I do, if I remember it, yes.
Okay. So Kama, see if you can get any more.
okay. I feel that the stiffness is an emotional stiffness as well, as a, there's some grief, but, I find myself pondering things that are crossing my mind, and I find myself staring off into space.
Karma, stop. Rice, do you find yourself doing that?
Yes.
Is that in any way tied to why you're not exercising? Like, are you getting distracted and thinking about things and forgetting to exercise?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
See where we're going, Karma?
Yes.
Keep going.
I feel a slowness of speech. I feel verbally, I feel halted, and I feel like it's hard for me to come up with the words that I want to say. And I feel that um that I find myself holding my breath, inhaling and holding my breath, as almost an anxiety thing.
Right. Karma, stop for a second. Rice, the physical condition that you're not doing the exercise for, is there somebody you need to discuss this with? That you're,
Yes.
and can you understand why you're not discussing it with them?
Yes.
Okay, Karma?
Um, um, I feel that that there's something I don't want to say. There's something on my mind that I don't want to say that, oops. Um, I feel like my shoulders are tight, my legs are tight. And when I first saw you, I um felt like the man on the screen who appeared on your screen was trying to tell me something as well. And I felt some sort of direct communication, and I was wondering if the person that I was seeing was the man on the screen, but it wasn't. It was just the various similarities. And but I felt like someone was caring for you and taking care of you and making sure you were okay.
Right, now stop, Karma. Rice, the person that you're supposed to speak to, is there somebody caring for you just now?
Yes.
And is this the person that you haven't discussed your condition with?
Yes.
Karma, take over.
Okay. I feel like this person is almost like a father to you, but like a caring for you, and likes to give you nice things and do nice things for you, and um maybe likes to travel, um and um and that but that you feel undeserving, or I think that but there's some disapproval the with the relationship. There's something that doesn't approve of it,
Y-
and um and that hinders on you, that takes a toll on you.
Yes.
Okay, so Karma, what is Rice to do?
You are to hold your head high and to continue to communicate what is going on for you, because communication is what will help everyone. And to understand that you are loved, and but really what is going on is that you are like you're cared for like a daughter, and you are and so moving forward, to hold your head high in that role, and to do that, to live that role, and to be confident in yourself in that role.
Thank you. Mm.
So can I close the reading down now?
Okay, thank you. What do I say to close it?
Can I leave that with you?
Okay, can I leave that with you?
Yes, thank you.
Thank you, Rice.
Thank you, Kama.
Okay, Rice, so some feedback, please, for Kama.
Okay, let me blow my nose.
So,
Sorry. Okay, last year, June 18, my my husband passed away of cancer. And I was so sad. And one of my online classmates asked me to move with him. And I said yes to the offer, and I'm living with him right now. And both my husband and the present person that I am with right now, they're both very old than me. There's an age gap, like 25 to 28 years. And the present person that I am with right now, the family is against our relationship. Even though we are helping each other, that's what's stopping me. Like, they are thinking that I was only for the money of this guy. So that's what's stopping me from, I don't know, expressing myself, allowing myself to be loved again. And yes, I will. And I continue to, take care of my husband. He's on my phone right now. That's my late husband. Their name is both Robert. So yeah. So sometimes, but when I don't have enough friends who can understand me with what's happening right with me right now. So I don't have enough friends. And
Rice, I'm not
yes,
working just now, but let me just add a wee bit to that reading, because I did pick up a wee bit. Your husband approves very much of Robert.
thank you. Thank you.
So you don't need to worry about him being upset with you linking up with somebody so quickly.
Thank you. It's the relatives of the present Robert that's been I'm not really not bothering me, but I'm upset about that. It affects me up to now.
Don't allow it to.
I'm sorry.
Don't allow them to affect you.
Yeah, no. And you're right on target. Kama. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Rice.
Okay, Kama, so my turn. First off, when you're in an environment like a circle and a spirit comes to you, you don't have to do this. But what would you have done if Pearlie had given the reading to Rice? You wouldn't have been able to give that spirit that message to Rice.
Yeah, I was thinking about that, and I was like, okay, well,
Right.
I'm
Now,
just
sometimes,
well, I
some-
have this fearless confidence that even if I get it entirely wrong, at least I come up with something. And so I was gonna say, because I was thinking, well, what if this information wasn't for Rice? And so I thought, well, then maybe someone else in the group will pick up on it. But I had this like the spirit coming to me.
okay.
I would like to butt in. I would like to butt in first. I was not picked. I think the fourth or the last. I'm not really sure. And I told Robert, would you like to come right now? I like to speak with you. Help somebody. And I kept on saying Kama Prana, and you were, stretching your arms like, so I don't understand. And then you told me that you're magnetized by the first time you saw me, you were magnetized. So I asked Robert to come and
Okay.
and help.
Right. So Kama, all of that worked out brilliantly.
Yeah, it did.
But imagine you were on a church platform, and imagine you had 30 people in front of you, and you've got a spirit coming to you at the very beginning saying, I want to go to da 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 da. And for whatever reason, that person's already had a message. You don't go back to that person. So my general advice is when you get a spirit coming forward, ask the spirit to step back. If Rice hasn't had a message, then the spirit can come forward. Because by letting the spirit come forward that early and hold on to you, you're basically blocking other spirits from coming in as well.
To myself.
To yourself, yeah.
Yeah.
So
what
for
about
example, I'm not working tonight. I know I'm borderline, but if I was working tonight, I would say, right, I'm coming to Abby, coming to Rice, coming to Kamala, coming to Emily, coming. And if I then turned around to you and said, okay, Kama, your turn, and you had 4 people to go to, you only had one spirit, and I was saying go to 4 people, you'd be fall short at 3 people, and you might even fall short at 4 people if I'd already gone to Rice.
Well, I would just go for it and go for somebody
Yeah,
else.
yeah, yeah. That's what I'm trying to tell you how to do it.
Okay.
So what you do is you don't allow one spirit to grab you. You just politely in your head say step back.
Okay.
And then when you go to somebody, you go blank. You just have faith and spirit. Exactly as you just said. You just have faith. You say, Jameen, can I work with? I'm not working with you. I'm just using you as an example. You just go to Jameen and you say, Jameen, can I work with you? Jameen says yes, and the spirit will come forward. Now, that's a technique called pattern working, which is way beyond what we're doing tonight. But the basics of it are don't let a spirit grab you and hold you the way that Robert did. Now, it all worked out tonight. It was all brilliant. I'm not in any way criticizing Robert. I'm just saying, if you find yourself on a church platform and there's 30 people waiting to get a message, and a spirit grabs you and you're working with another medium, then you're shooting yourself in the foot.
Yeah.
Okay? Right. So that's the first bit. Evidence-wise, brilliant. You got straight in there, bang, 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 bang. You were the quickest person so far. You saw the way that Rice was crying. So that's the second point. Pay attention to the sitter. If the sitter's telling you with the body language that you're getting it right, then just get in there quickly and say, Rice, can you accept who this is? Yes, and then move into the message.
Okay, so I needed to I saw what her state was, and so I needed to ask her for confirmation, even though even if
Absolutely.
we're visually quite confirming.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Always. Don't take it. Don't, the person might be sitting there, body language is all mega positive. The purpose of the confirmation is very simple. You saw the way it worked. Half of the message is evidence, half of the message is the message. And the spirit needs to know when to stop giving you the evidence and when to move into the message.
Okay.
And that's the way you do it. So, Rice, can I just confirm you're happy who this is? Yes. That's it. Everything thereafter is the message.
Okay.
So you thought you were still continuing with the message, but you weren't. You were getting the evidence of the sorry, you thought you were continuing with the evidence. Sorry, I'm dyslexic. You thought you were getting the evidence the way you were talking, that you weren't. You were getting the message.
Well, I felt like everybody else went on and on with their evidence, and I was like, oh, maybe I should too. So
No, but you don't need to.
I don't need to. Yeah.
As soon as the sitter, all that matters is the sitter being happy that you've given them enough evidence that that's who it is. I have gone to one person and given them one line of evidence, and they've got, oh my God, that's Uncle Percy. Now, I've got a whole load of more evidence I can give them, but I stop.
Okay.
Why? Because you're not there to make yourself feel good. You're there to make the sitter feel good. Now, if you need to keep giving the evidence to make the sitter feel good, then fine. But if the sitter, body language, verbally is saying, yes, that's whoever it is, then stop and move into the message. There's one medium in Scotland who's famous because she only does 3 messages. Right, now, we're talking about a 50-minute service. She only gives 3 messages per service, and all she does is just stand there and give the evidence. Now, it's brilliant evidence, don't get me wrong. It's absolutely tick, 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 but all she's doing there is just satisfying her own ego. Because everybody's going, oh, yes, that's great. Oh, yes, that's great. And the person gets a message of 1 sentence at the end of 20 minutes of evidence, when it should be the other way around. It should be 2 or 3 minutes of evidence, and if she's going to do 3 messages, then 18 minutes working on the message. Spirit come forward for a reason. They come forward because they've got something they want to say.
Okay.
Okay? So next bit. The way that the Spirit was communicating with you, it's very easy to misinterpret as the message. You know, you were, I can't remember what it was, but you were picking it up as though the Spirit was wanting to love or wanting to do something. Now, that is part of the message, yes. But it was a very specific message.
Right.
You know, I was maybe prompting you a wee bit more than I should have, but you can see the way that Rice was able to understand the entire message and fit it together.
Yeah.
Okay? Any questions?
So you're saying that even though I was rambling, it still came together? No,
Yes.
Okay.
Look at the feedback.
Yeah.
Look at the feedback Rice gave you.
Yeah.
Sometimes the medium will understand specifically, like that message I was getting, I was like the video. I was given something that I had done in the past with a property. So they just basically showed me that from my past. So I knew, you know, you're going, oh, how did Mark know to say that? Because I saw something in the past that I knew exactly what it meant. So I just went to the sitter and I said, as you saw me say, it's something to do with a property planning permission. Oh, yes, she was doing that right there. So sometimes the Spirit will show you something about the Spirit. In this case, it was the Spirit on the shoulders, putting the hands around the shoulder. Now that meant something, both with the pain, both with the fact that that was the way her husband did it. And also, you saw the way that I interpreted it in the end by saying that the husband was approving of the new robber.
Yes.
New companion. So that it can be multi-level.
Okay.
But I would say you did about 8.5, 9 out of 10. So well done.
Thank
Very
you.
good. Very good.
You gave a very
We
strong
need to-
message. Sorry.
I'm sorry, we need to move on to closing, so if anybody needs to leave, they can.
Okay. So everybody relax, shut your eyes, and listen to my voice. See yourself back with the open the open yellow-green leaf with the red sunbeam coming down on it. It's now curling up. As it curls up, it turns autumn brown red. Now move your energy out of the leaf into the twig, into the branch, into the trunk. Move down the trunk, into the roots. Move down the roots. The roots are getting thinner and thinner until you're at the very thin tail end of the roots. Now the soil of Mother Gaia Earth is above you, to the side of you and beneath you, completely enclosing you, and know that you are now closed to Spirit. And when you're ready, open up your eyes. Okay, now, the people at the beginning that were putting their hands up because they were constantly open, this is what I want you to start doing. get a playlist together that's 10 to 15 minutes long of music that you like, preferably music you can relax to. Before you go to your bed, instead of doing your nightly prayers, I want you to do exactly what we just did. Open yourself, play the music, open yourself up, meditate or just concentrate on the music, or see if your loved ones come forward for 10 to 15 minutes. And then at the end, close yourself down. Now, the purpose for that is very simple. If you have opened up by accident, by opening up and then closing down, you will firmly close down. Your guides will get into the habit of knowing what you're doing when you open and knowing what you're doing when you close. Now, you can use the imagery that I used tonight, or you can work on your own imagery. It doesn't matter. As long as it involves you walking towards a door, opening the door, and the light or spirit or whatever coming through the door. So like I said, I walk across an old Gothic bridge in London. I go to a big cathedral, I walk up the stairs and I open the door and the light comes through. That's my opening ceremony. And then I close down, I do the exact opposite. I close the doors of St. Paul's, I walk down the steps and I go back across the bridge. Now, if you get any kind of spiritual communication during the day, unless it's your guide, that's different. But if you get a spirit coming up to you, just politely say to the spirit, very sorry, I'm going to be open tonight at whenever. Goodbye, come and speak to me at that point, and do the close down in your head. Just close down immediately. Do not, under any circumstances, let the spirit say to you, I've got a message for that woman over there, because that's rule number 2. You don't give anybody readings unless they ask you for them. So under no circumstances, get that message, walk up to the person and say, hello, you don't know me, but I'm a medium. I've got your grandfather here. Can I give you a reading? Don't do that. Just politely say to the spirit, sorry, come back when I'm going to be in circle, come back when I'm going to be open, come back when I'm going to be meditating. And you'll find that your guides will very quickly fall into the pattern of when you're going to be open. They'll know when you're going to be open, and they themselves will stop the spirits coming forward. Anybody got any questions? Diana?
What you had just said, if somebody of a spirit comes through to you and wants to give you a message, could you walk up to a person and ask them permission?
Under no circumstances, no.
Okay.
That's kind of like assault.
It is, but I was thinking more, why would spirit come to you in that moment unless they were trying to relay a message that they were trying to get through that you probably wouldn't be able to tell them if you're at home in bed?
Diana, let me ask you a simple question.
Okay.
From the first 2 human beings, whether it's Adam and Eve or whether it was 2 biological specimens, how many humans do you think have been born?
Oh, millions, of course.
108 billion. Current Earth population is 8 billion. 108 minus 8 is 100, and that's not including miscarriages or any children born on the other side, and life continues on the other side.
Yes.
So we are outnumbered by a minimum of 18 to 1, probably a lot more than that. Doesn't matter where you are, doesn't matter who you are. If you're open, there's a dozen spirits lining up to say hello or to ask you to go and give a message to somebody.
I understand. I've never had that experience. I'm just esoterically thinking, if they're trying to come through to give a message of somebody that's in front of you, could you ask? And it's probably not a good idea.
If they're that desperate, they will go to the loved one and they will guide the loved one to a medium or a spiritualist church.
Smart. Okay.
Because some people are against mediumship and you might be offending someone religiously, or they may start calling you demonic, and you don't want that kind of a interaction on the street. So
Just trust us, don't go there.
I understand.
Let me ask it from another perspective. How do you react when the Mormons knock on your door and put the foot in the door so you can't close it?
Oh, I've never had that happen. But that would be,
if they did, how would you react?
It is sort of a physical and verbal assault.
Yeah, exactly.
I
know how I feel when people on Facebook who know I'm a medium keep sending me messages. Mark, I've got a message for you. And I'm a medium.
Oh, that's frightening.
Yeah.
I get it all the time. Right? You have your hand up. You have a question?
I'm just gonna ask if I can get the recording of this if possible, because I wanted to listen to the message of what Kamara have said.
We're actually
Yes.
going to post, we're going to post it online, so you will be able to go and see it online.
In your website.
Yes. Not on the website, on our YouTube channel. You'll be able to see it there.
Okay, thank you.
So we'll be sending it, you're going to get various emails and links coming up to you because we're almost finished, but we're just going to basically tell you how you can link up back with us in the end. Okay.
Yes, please. Thank you so much.
Anybody got any more questions?
I only had one.
Go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead. I was wondering about pattern control. Is that basically like spiritual traffic control?
Yes, it's basically when I stand on a church platform with 50 people waiting for messages, and I know that I'm going to give 50 messages in that service, and trust me, I can do 50 messages in a service. I tell Spirit how I'm going to work. So Devi, you were with me at the New York church.
Right.
What was the pattern I was working to?
Oh, you were just front to back, down the row and back.
So I just basically told my guides I'm going to start in that row, that row, that row. And I was going forward and backwards so that most people didn't realize what I was doing. But I didn't want people sitting sort of like that way. So that they're all going, oh, it's my turn. Because I was moving backwards and forwards. I think by the end of the service, most people had worked out what I was doing. But at the start, it did look random. But I was
It did
following.
look random. It did look
Yeah.
random. And honestly, I was filming you, so I wasn't turning around all the time to see
Yeah.
what was
But
going
I
on.
had told my guides exactly what pattern I was going to go. And that's why I call it pattern working. And it's a key element of rapid fire that I mentioned at the beginning. We're not covering rapid fire tonight. You'd have to be a lot more advanced for me to do that with you. Any more questions?
I do. This is Janine. You
Mhm.
talked about the rules that you shouldn't break. And so asking a person or just going up to a person for a reading, that's a no-no. What are the others?
Don't diagnose under any circumstances. Now you saw we got a wee bit close to it tonight when we were getting symptoms. So give what you get. Say to the person, can you understand that? If they say yes, that's fine. If they say no, stop. Do not under any circumstances diagnose. There was actually a woman in New York State, can't remember her name and I can't remember how long ago, but she literally diagnosed a woman with cancer. So the woman got up, went away to a doctor or hospital, got every test you can imagine for cancer, was given, thank God, was given a clean bill of health, turned around and then sued the medium for all the medical expenses.
Really?
She won the case. Medium bankrupt.
Yeah.
So don't, under any circumstances, give any kind of professional advice that you're not qualified to give. And the top of that list is medical. Next one down is legal. So unless you, I mean, for quite often, I run a lot of businesses, I've been divorced, I've been giving readings to people where clearly I get things from my divorce and I say to the person, look, can you understand the circumstance where you're getting divorced and this is happening? And they've said, yes, I own and invest in properties. I've had circumstances like you saw with me there with planning permission. I'm not giving advice, but I will say, look, in my circumstance, this is what I did. Now, is that advice? I don't think it is. I'm only giving an example of what I did. So you have to be very careful. Now, if you're a doctor, fair enough. If you're a lawyer, fair enough. I'm an accountant. I'm a qualified accountant, believe it or not. I have given readings to people where I've given them legal accounting advice, but I can do that as an accountant. The spirit tell me what the situation is, I confirm what the situation is, and then I'll say to them, you do realize that the rules of XYZ now apply to here. So that's protect yourself. Don't give rules, don't give messages to people that haven't asked for it. Those are the three main ones. Follow those three and you pretty much protect yourself. The final one is more a legal one for the world. Remember, even if you're in a church, you're an entertainer. Now, what do I mean by that? That's illegal. That's not that you're singing and dancing. It's that If I'm doing a private reading, like you saw it yourself when you came into the Zoom, it clearly said in that text that this was entertainment. So it doesn't matter what I say, it doesn't matter what advice I give you, you can't come back and say, you said I should do X, Y, Z, and it didn't work, I'm suing you. I'll just turn around and say, well, I was entertaining, and it clearly said, don't take that as advice. Now, that's not spiritual, that's just a wee bit of legal trickery. Well, it's not trickery, that's just a wee bit of legal protection you can give yourself.
That's great. Great protection. Thank you.
Okay, any more questions?
Let's move on.
Okay, so if you bear with me just for a second, I'm going to run through a few slides that will basically tell you how to basically get back in touch with us if you want to, or what the options are if you want to continue working with us.
Yeah, I just missed the third one. The rule. Oh.
Oh,
Don't give any legal advice. Don't give any
Yeah.
medical. Don't diagnose. Don't give
Got
any
it.
professional advice, essentially. Okay, so can everybody see that?
no.
No, who said no?
No. You need to share your screen.
No, it's the slide's fine.
Oh, okay.
Devi, knock your
I
head on
can't,
the
well,
wall.
I've got a gallery view, so everybody look at Mark's little square.
Okay, so make me the main picture. So, straightforward question, do you want to continue with us, yes or no? Like, do you want to come back again? Right. So, Debbie and I run a training company. We have 3 levels of training. Now, which level of training from you depends on what you want to do. Open circle and workshop is what you've seen tonight. Now, you saw tonight, you will get feedback. Some people will work, but a lot of people did not work. This is a very slow way of developing with us. We only run 2 of these a month. We've got no control over the number of people that come. There could be as many as 30 or 40 people. We will only work with a maximum of 5 people per workshop. So that's option number 1. The cost, if you want to do that, is $50 a month. So for $50, you get 2 of these workshops a month. Option number 2 is what we call the development circle. Now, here you're getting serious. Here, you're somebody that does want to get serious feedback. Now, Pearlie, you can see even yourself as an experienced medium, I get a lot of so-called no insult intended, I get a lot of experienced mediums and they still get benefit from that. You get a weekly circle. It takes place on a Sunday, but later after this circle. And some of the people that are more developed will come into this circle, and we might say when we've finished the workshop, the person's going to do some rapid fire, like what I was describing. So if you want to stay and get a short message, they get practice to do it. Cost of that is $500 a month. But for that, you're getting 5 circles and virtually unlimited access to myself. It may not even be me that does the workshops. It might be Devi, or it might be one of the other mediums that we work with. The last one, and for this you really have to be demented, excuse my phraseology, but this is somebody that wants to go from a standing start to being a professional medium in 6 months. You need a minimum, and I stress minimum, of 15 hours a week. So don't even think about that if you've only got 3, 4, 5 hours. I don't care how experienced you are, I'm going to keep you working 15 hours a week if you want to do that. Now, at both these 2 levels, you also get your working website. Now, what do I mean by that? I mean an actual website that you can take bookings through. With this one, you don't get it till you've been doing it for 6 months. With this one, obviously, you're only doing it in 6 months. You'll get it when I think you're ready to be able to do it. The difference between the 2 of them, however, is at this one, you just get the website. At this one, you get the marketing, the search engine optimization. We don't do the advertising. But we will do the market research for you where you're locally based, and we'll tell you, we'll work with you. You say, I want to do churches, fine, we'll find the churches. You say, I want to do stage work, we'll find places for you to work. We'll guide you through the advertising, we'll design the adverts for you. We'll put a chatbot onto your website that can ask questions. If you want an example of that, go to my website, marcstuartmedium.com, and you'll find a chatbot called Rain. We'll put something like that on your website that'll know what types of readings you'll do, they'll know the price, they'll know how to book you, and it'll basically book your clients. But for that, a lot more expensive. It's $7,500 for the 6 months if you pay it monthly at $1,250 a month, or $5,400 if you pay us up front. Generally, most people start here and then work their way up to here. Very few people want to go this fast, and I would seriously have hesitation if you said, I want to do that without spending a wee bit of time here or here first. You can upgrade. You can start here, jump to here, or you could start here and jump to here. Obviously, somebody that's going here for a few months and then going to here, I would expect to be a lot more advanced. Anybody got any questions? Okay.
I have a question. Does it have to be consecutive months, or whatever months you want to?
No, it's consecutive.
Consecutive. Okay.
It's like training to be an athlete. If you take 3 months off, you may as well start again from scratch. That's effectively what happens the way that we train and the way that we work. You've seen my style. I am very gentle tonight. If you were at the development, if you're at this level or this level, I'll take you apart and put you back together.
And he will. He's not nice about it.
Because if you go out into the big bad world and say, I was trained by Marc Stuart to make a mess of it, it reflects badly on me. So I'm very careful with who I work with, and I make sure that those people can do what I say they can do. We've got one student just now that I'm about to take apart because she's gone out to give readings to people and she's not ready yet. And that's going to reflect badly on me when she does the bad readings. So if you join us, you are literally joining us. We're your trainers, we're your protectors, we're everything, if that makes sense.
Yeah, we will
Okay.
take care of you.
Now, you're all going to get an email and a text. It's all automated. You'll get the text and the email later tonight. There's links in there that'll take you to a page that's got a lot more information about each of those levels and an order form. And the order form's got every variation of monthly, 6 monthly, all the rest of it. You can click that form, send it to us, and then we'll contact you and get you started at whichever level you're talking about. Alternatively, you can book a time for a call. You can basically book a 15-minute conversation with myself, and I'll talk specifically with you about what you think or what you want to do. Or you can talk to me just now. Any of you that want to, we're finished up now. If any of you are thinking about this, if you've got any hesitations, if you're not sure where you see yourself, then I'm quite happy to sit on for half an hour and talk to you one-on-one. But other than that, I think that's us finished, unless anybody's got any questions or wants to talk.
Well, thank you all so much. I have to fly. I have to go get some dog food, but it was a pleasure. And bye-bye.
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 Thanks for
Bye.
coming. I hope to see you soon.
Thank you.
So if anybody wants to go, feel free. Failing that, somebody start speaking.
Mark, I was interested in the month.
Right, so, right, Abby.
So they're basically, but it's different people sometimes,
Yes.
correct?
Correct.
Yes.
Correct.
The
And different amounts of
opportunity.
people.
Gotcha. Okay.
We've had circles with only 2 people, and then everybody gets to work. But that doesn't
Right.
happen very often.
And sometimes it can be a lot more. So just be prepared for it.
Right. But I think you benefit from watching other people as well. So
Absolutely.
Well,
Yeah.
basically that's what happens at the 6 month. That's what the
Right.
10 to 15 hours for, because we're going to throw videos of circles like this at you. Here's a, yeah, just keep watching them, open up, close up, see what I'm saying to different people, wide variety of people. So you'll see the same people in some circles developing and getting better. And that reinforces what we're doing in the circles. You also get workshops, more on the business side. So let me give you a practical example. I think somebody said they did card readings. Now, when I do card readings, I do it with 3 cameras. So people can see the cards, they can see me, and they can see me drawing the cards all on the screen at once. Compare that to somebody that's just sitting there holding the card up to the screen. Who's the more credible one?
Yeah.
Now that's on the business side as opposed to the spiritual side. That's where you're
Yeah.
getting the top level all the way down.
I read cards as well, but I do like intuitive readings, like what message I get from the card, not necessarily memorizing, each tarot.
Yeah, that's called oracle reading as opposed to tarot reading.
It's called intuitive tarot, actually.
Okay.
Yeah, I do. Because I
Sorry,
do.
Mark, you're wrong.
Okay, fair enough. The methodology.
Oracle reading is with oracle cards. They're different.
Okay.
Yeah, because with tarot, if it's swords, I know it's mental, so you're correlating it, but you still it's what the card gives me. And it could be different for every person, even though it could be the same card. So it definitely is intuitive.
Abby, can I ask you a question? Have you ever gone to a psychic fair?
I have.
Right. So you know what I'm talking about when you walk past the 20 tables of mediums all using cards?
Yeah.
When I go to an American psychic fair, I don't take cards. And I've got the longest queue of people waiting to get readings from me. The first person walks up and says, "Where's your cards?" I just laugh at them and say, "I don't need cards." She says, "I don't believe you." I say, "Sit down and get a reading." And then somebody else goes past and sees what I'm doing. And before you know it, there's a queue of people.
I've been asked that too. Where are your cards?
Really?
Using cards.
I think I was using cards as a crutch. At first, I just wanted to see, could I get something? Because I don't see pictures when I close my eyes. But I have a knowing, sort of, if that makes sense. I just certain
It's a
things.
different clair. It's clairvoyance.
Mm-hmm.
My piece of advice to you is throw the cards away. Come to a couple of these circles, get a wee bit of confidence and try what you were doing without the cards. You'll probably find it easier. Because you'll probably find cards are holding you back. Like you're not going to pick up the physical. Yeah, you saw there were people doing readings and their hands were moving or the face. You're probably getting that and you're not paying any attention to it because you're too busy looking at the cards.
Okay.
And a question about the 6-month course.
Yep.
Is that one-on-one or are we working with like 2 or 3 people at the same time?
2 or 3 people at the same time. You have to be in a circle.
Right,
But
of course.
you'll get a lot more attention. And it's me that you'll get as opposed to Devi or some of the other people that I work with.
Okay.
And trust me, that does make a big difference.
It does. He's got a lot more experience. I got plenty of experience teaching, but not teaching mediumship the way he does it. So he's much more experienced teacher than I am. So yeah, it makes a big difference.
Do you have?
I've got a simple boast. I have never had somebody come into a circle that didn't, by the end of the circle, not in an open like this, but in a private circle, was not by the end of the circle able to give a reading. So I'm sorry, Esther, I didn't have enough time to work with you, but if this was a smaller group, I'd have kept on working with you, and by the end of it, you'd have given a reading.
I understand. I've worked with you once before.
Okay.
You just invited me to a class and I went in and did my first with you and had no idea what I was doing, but I sometimes felt like you were looking in my head as I was telling you what I was seeing, and you were able to say, "That's a porch Yes, but let's not interpret it a different way. Let's just say what
Yeah.
you see and don't interpret it. And that stuck with me.
Yeah. I am tuned into everybody that's working.
Okay.
I've had people come into the circle. I've had so-called I once had an experienced medium who came into the circle, and she was getting breast cancer. Now, it wasn't diagnosis, so let's be absolutely clear. It was how the spirit had died. And she herself had had an experience with cancer in the past. And she just said, "Oh, I can't do this." And I said to her, "Look, keep doing it," because I knew what the message was. And it was a life-changing message for the sitter. But she just immediately said, "Oh no, I can't do this."
Mm.
Stopped, and I had to take the message over, and her face went like that because I got the same evidence and just finished, and then gave the message. And the woman that I gave it to was in tears. It was that important to her.
Of course.
So, to answer your question, I am tuned into every message that's being given.
That made sense. I felt like you were walking there with me in my thoughts as I was trying to read through what I was seeing.
Because he is. He was.
That's nice confirmation to know that I wasn't walking through that alone. So I appreciate that. Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, folks. Well,
Alice? Okay.
thank you so much for coming, and hope to see you back in a couple weeks. Mark will send you links and things for tomorrow for signing up.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you.